Well, good morning. Welcome back to the homestead. Today I'm out trying to do a little work on these dormers. I came out a week ago and tried to do the flashing around the bottom of the dormers, and I ran into a couple of problems and had come up with another way to do it, that the flashing would all be on one level regardless of where the ridges came out. But I didn't like it as much as the original way that I wanted to do the flashing. So I went back and I talked to the people at Reed's Metal, and it turns out they can actually bend me a custom flashing. If the ribs fall out in the wrong place, they can make it just a little bit longer or a little bit narrower, and I think that's what I'm going to be able to do. Looks like there's only one side that the rib is in the wrong place for the flashing I already have, so I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the flashing, and then I'll custom order that one piece of flashing to finish it out. But let's get started on the one that doesn't have a problem with where the ribs fall. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the side flashing on this side of the dormer, and that'll be attached with butyl tape out here in the flat, plus screws going down through the lip, and then there'll be roofing nails through the flange up into the dormer, and then there'll be a piece of tape at the top of the flange to the house, and then the house wrap will come down over the top of all of that. So that any water that hits the side of the dormer here will come down the house wrap, get on the outside of that flashing, and then come out to the roof and shed out. Alright, so I've got the end wall flashing on the dormer here, and I got that on both sides, and then I ran a piece of foam weather stripping across the part where the front flashing will go, so that wind can't force rain to go up under that flashing and get across the back edge of that tin. So we're ready to go ahead and fit the front piece of flashing in now. Alright, so that's what it looks like. I do want to come back and put a pop rivet in this bottom corner and run a bead of caulk down that overlap right there. But that's what the overall project's going to look like. Now it's time to go do the other two dormers. Alright, well, you might be able to hear it in the background, but I've got some thunder and lightning that's moved into the area, so I'm not going to be able to do any more work up on the roof. I did get all the flashing cut for the next two dormers, but I'm going to have to wait till the weather clears up to get up there and put it on. So if I remember right, the last video I was working on putting the trim up around the windows here, the 1x4 trim, and I ran out of daylight on that, so I didn't finish the windows on the front porch. Since then I did come back and finish putting all the 1x4 trim up on those, and I've caulked all the windows except for the one behind me here, and I ran out of caulk. So I've got a little more caulk with me today. I'm going to go ahead and caulk this window up, and whatever's left I'll probably caulk some of my electrical outlets on the outside here. So let me get that done, and then we'll see what we can get into next. Alright, for all my outlets on the porch, when I put the hardy trim on there, I made these little medallions, I guess you'll call it, for the hardy trim to go to, so that you wouldn't see the side of the outlet boxes where the shiplap is. And I'm just going to go around and caulk the nail holes for that, so that I can get those painted. Alright, so I just finished going ahead and caulking all of those medallions on the outlets. And now that that's done, I've got a little bit more time left that I can get something worked on. And it's already started raining, so I'm obviously not going to get to work on the dormers anymore today. So what I'm going to do is start working on this baseboard trim. And I need the baseboard so that the hardy trim will be spaced up off of the porch. And I've got some laid out for the front here. And I actually have already cut some and tacked it up for the far side of the house over here. But couldn't see where the studs were for the house wrap, and I didn't have my stud finder with me at the time. So I've got my stud finder and I've got my brad gun, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start nailing off the baseboard on this wall that I've already got cut, and then nail off these pieces that I've got cut for the front, and then finish cutting that last piece. So let's get to doing that and see how far we can get around on the baseboard before I have to go for the day. so that's two sides of the house with baseboard on the porch now, the front and the east side. And I've still got to do the back of the house and the west side. Once those two sides are done, I've got to put the corner trim up on the four corners of the house, and I've got to put the door molding up around the French door in the back because it did not come with molding. And after that, then we're ready to start putting siding on. So tonight, while it's raining, I'm going to make use of the foul weather and go ahead to the next town over and pick up a siding nailer because they don't carry them anywhere in town here. So I'm going to run and pick up some more supplies. Hopefully tomorrow I can finish up this baseboard and corner trim, and maybe if it's not raining I can go ahead and put some of that flashing up around the last two dormers. So we'll just have to wait and see what the weather's supposed to be. But anyway, y'all keep checking back.